history. This is going to be one of the most historic videos in world history. Why? Because the SMR, the NUKE small nuclear reactor, was developed right where we're sitting, who the resistance right in this building was me right here, has blown up. We've had another Chernobyl. Putin has done a press conference. He's admitted it. I will quote Putin right off the get. I'm afraid this fallout's going to reach every corner of the earth. So the reason we know, it was reported, there was some video that broke loose the other day of ambulance going, it was reported as a weapons, nuclear weapons test failure. Now this is important, and I'm going to caveat this all the way to the back. Utah's funded this, Utah developed this, FLUOR Construction. Now FLUOR Construction's crashing, their stock is crashing. As you know, I've been screaming, short it, short it, short it. FLUOR Construction is the developer, FLUOR Construction is Utah Construction. Utah Construction is this university, Weber State University. These small nuclear reactors funded by the Utah State Legislature. The only resistance on earth to these reactors was Kevin Blanch. Now you say, oh, this is the Russian version. No, it's the exact same one. Now this is important. Paducah, the weapons grade MOX fuel plant in Kentucky, got hit by a tornado a few years ago. And it was disclosed that it was full of Russian waste. Now stay with me. One day you'll wake up and understand the nuclear energy crime syndicate is all one in the same. Putin, Trump, Abiy, Z. The nuclear imperialism. It's really important. Now stay with me. So, FLUOR, Chicago Bridge and Iron, Arriva, you know about Arriva in France, the French government-backed nuclear, which is going to bankrupt twice. Westinghouse, which bought Toshiba, which bankrupted Toshiba. Trump bailed them out. The World Bank bailed them out. That's the whole gig between him and Abiy, best bosom buddies. All these companies are one in the same. They work together. This is not Russian versus US. This is looting money. Now, stay with me. Governor Herbert, the state of Utah, on this campus, told me to my face, Kevin, these small reactors are safe. They cannot blow up. I'm like, bullshit. I told him to his face. They're even more dangerous. Now, this is important. Hill of Utah, who's the resistance here was, Matt quit. He got taken over by this guy named Williams, who is, I think he's working for the nuclear industry. I honestly do. I'm one of the founders of Hill. We founded on anti-nuclear energy. He did an interview this year in the Salt Lake Tribune saying, well, these reactors are totally safe. This is the resistance. This is your I'm like, I'm in his face. I won't even talk to him anymore. Ashley, who quit, went to work for the Sierra Club, won't speak to me anymore. I'm like, you guys are sellouts. These are not safe. There are actually more, and do not be fooled by this reactor is small. Here's how this thing was built. The smaller, leaner, stronger, cleaner, safer reactor. Now make no mistake about it. They're in bed with the nuclear weapons industry because they're using that technology. That technology, this fuel is MOX. Now I was at the MOX fuel plant yesterday, behind my house, Westinghouse, in Little Mountain, Utah. Ironically, shooting a video before Putin gave this press conference. Now, I didn't know this was an SMR that blew up until his press conference. Now, how do we know? This is a major, major story. This is no small meltdown. Now, is it Fukushima? Well, nothing matches Fukushima. Fukushima's 3 full-blown outdells with multiple fuel, but that you just went into denial. So, I'm going to quote something from the... I've already named this. I named this morning. Chernobyl Jr. And oh boy, same playbook. Same playbook. They're telling us 5 people were killed. So you can times that by how many?
5 people so far.
Yeah. Well, that's what they're reporting. And the only reason we know is Rostom. Now, Rostom shows up at one of their funerals. This guy's bragging. Just like they did. Just remember in the battle, or excuse me, the documentary Chernobyl? Remember how he's bragging how we are the great Russian technology? Same type of guy. What? Read the press conference. He shows up at the funeral and he says, I want to thank these 5 men for giving their lives for the Russian. We are doing this for the state, blah, 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 blah. At the funeral. Yesterday. That's how the world knew. People were there. People in Russia started going crazy about this, posting it all over. By the way, as we speak, Putin is locking thousands of people up to this minute, right now.
Kevin, and what's the city of this explosion?
So what it is, it's on the White Sea. So what it is, they have they have to have the water, even for these small nuclear reactors where all this stuff goes down. Now, we do it here at Idaho National Lab, which is right up the road on the Blackfoot Reservoir, which is the first meltdown in the world. But this is on the White Sea. So it's 450, I think it's 250 miles east of Moscow. Now, this is real important. You'll get this nowhere on the face of the earth but from me. In January of 2017, it was reported in Europe that there was some nuclear fallout coming over Europe. We can't figure out where it is. So I started working with a real famous activist who's an anonymous guy. And I want to say this Q and all these phonies that are all over the internet saying they're anonymous, that's all CIA setup. The real anonymous, you'll never find out who they are. So I'm working with an anonymous, a real one, in Sweden, who's got a source inside Russia. He's like, no, this is a reactor, this is a weapons test graded MIAC blue. And I'm like, well, what are they testing? What are they testing? Small nukes, he says. I says, like the reactors? Yeah, well, they're one and the same. You know that, Kevin. So it was reported all over. So I did YouTube video after YouTube video. Putin is testing freaking small nuclear reactors. Now, again, this is important. Utah is the only place, government, besides Russia, on Earth. I mean, and think about that. John Huntsman. Now, where's he been the whole time? He's the most famous guy in the state. He's the ambassador to Russia. Oh, I'm going to be going down, and I'm going to chase him down, and me and him's going to have a talk. ASAP. Now, he's just recently resigned. He gave us Dirty Herbie. Utah is the only government on the face of the earth that has sponsored and funded these things. The only resistance on earth fighting them was me. Period. You can look it up. You go to the Utah State Legislature. I got video after video. I'm writing these guys. I know a lot of these state legislators. Why did you vote for this? What's his name? Representative Paul from Clearfield, who I know, told me because. I'm like, because what? So the resistance in there, I'll say, oh, these are safe. Governor Herbert told me to my face they're safe. So did Mike Lee. I mean, I've talked to everybody. I've been fighting this right here in this building on this campus. Upstairs. The Utah Energy Conference was here. This is a few years ago. I've been fighting these guys since the inception. They had a table up there, NUKE. I went up, put my camera in her face, and I'm just talking to her. I said, no. You can look it up. They're online. They're on YouTube. She calls the cops on me. Here comes Weber State Police. I'm like, I don't know all Weber State Police. They all know me. Well, they're like, well, Kevin's surely not doing anything wrong. He has every freaking right in the world, the video. And I says, anybody needs to be arrested, but you. Now, there's a couple punk-ass kids that work on this campus. One's got a beard. He's over in the water all the time. You know, and he got all stupid with me. I mean, he actually tried to fight me when I was full of cancer. I'm like, dude, I'm almost 60 years old. I'm full of ammo. You're attacking me? You got nothing to win here, boy. I said, number one, I'll knock you out. You come at me. And if you happen to get lucky on a young guy assaulting a cancer victim, this is the freaking derelicts that have gone in on this NUSCale reactor thing. Oh, you're just one of those tree huggers. What are you talking about? I'm full of leukemia. I'm an anti-nuclear activist. I mean, I'm just a logical, normal human being trying to protect my grandchildren. I mean, I'm native, 7th generation in the state. I have grandkids. You know, we turn this into the toilet. So, Governor Herbert tells me to my face, oh, these cannot melt down. Over and over they're told me they cannot melt down. Oh, it's melted down. This story is going to erupt. Now, Putin did a press conference, which either late last night or this morning here, you know, I got it. God. I didn't know this was an SMR that blew. Nobody did. Nobody did. We knew there was an accident over there. But we thought it was a weapons test, sometimes that we didn't know it was an actual reactor. Now remember, Putin's launched floating reactors. Now remember, Trump has restarted nuclear testing at Idaho. I was up there. I have video of it at INL. How many times I've been up there? Now this is real important. Stay with me. The Nuclear Regulatory Committee, right? They're the police on this, right? They have fast-tracked these new scales forward. The head of the Nuclear Regulatory Committee is, she used to be on this campus. She used to work at Idaho National Lab. Now, this gets better. This is the corruption. Guess who she used to work with? Jose Reyes. Now, who's Jose Reyes? Now, I asked the Attorney General in the state of Utah, this is how derelict the state of Utah is. At the Bear River Massacre, he was there. By the way, the Lieutenant Governor tried to tell me that that was Washington territory when it happened. I mean, Utah. I said, no, it wasn't. Don't air your ignorance in public. It was Washington territory. This is the derelicts that are running our state of Utah. So he told me, I asked him, this Reyes guy, people are saying you're related to him. Now remember, our Attorney General Joaquin Reyes, I'll tell you who he is related to. You know who his uncle is? That madman freaking in the Philippines, the president.
Duterte?
Yeah. Did you know that's Jose Reyes' uncle?
Oh, wow. I didn't know.
Jose Reyes is not from here. So I asked, or excuse me, not Jose, the Attorney General in Utah. So I asked him, are you related? I'm no relation. I says, do you know about this NUKE reactor Utah's funding? Getting ready to push through the letter. This is the Attorney General of the state of Utah. This is the most corrupt thing in the world. You know what he told me? I know nothing about him. This is the Attorney General of the state of Utah. I'm like, what? How's that possible? You can look it up. It's on YouTube. He told me he didn't even know what they were. This is the biggest corrupt thing in the history of the state. The state of Utah is funding them. Oh my God. And I don't know what they are. Now remember, this is the state of downwinders. I'm in the bone marrow transplant center at LDS Hospital dying of leukemia. I was head of the support group there for a long time. You can go in there any given day, and well over 50% of that people in there are from southern Utah, including my doctor, Vincent's brother and father both died at 14 and 16. When he was 14 years old and 16 years old, when he was a young guy in Southern. And this is the same week. Now, stay with me. This is important. This happened on August 8th, right? Well, wouldn't you think there'd be no testing, no nothing go on that week? What's August 6th? Isn't that Hiroshima? What's August 9th? That's Nagasaki.
Nagasaki.
You know where I was at on the 8th? Wendover, Utah at the Enola Gay Hangar, holding the paper crane, a Sudoku, in my hand, which I do every year. Oh my God, this is a nightmare. I cannot believe this happened. Well, I can believe it happened. But the state of Utah is all in. Now think about this. The state of Utah paid the price like no other. Mike Lee right here told me, you know, Kevin, my father was a downwinder, died for it. This is the same Mike Lee that got caught sneaking Italian nuclear waste illegally into the Energy Solutions dump site. He told me this later. I'm like, Mike, you're not? What do you think it went away? Go to Moab? The half-life is how long? Vladimir Putin today. I will quote him. There's been a small nuclear reactor. We've had a nuclear accident here, and I'm afraid the nuclear fallout is going to reach every corner of the earth. Vladimir Putin, August 12th, 2019. Your reactor that even Greenpeace Sierra Club, the Sierra Club in Salt Lake, told me to. Ashley, I know I'm friends with Ashley. I used to love Ashley. She used to work with us Hill. She jumped ship. She won't even speak to me now because I've turned on her. I says, I'm in San Diego fighting San Onofre, and I have to fly home and get in the legislature. You have all the money. Why didn't you just run a little ad on KSL? And they get the funding through. Not only that, on West 12th Street out there, they've got funding through the Romneys, Bain Capital, Grassy Mountain, Snellgrove boys, and Weber County commissioners have been caught developing a nuclear waste dump facility at West 12th Street. And $20 million is missing. Where's the investigative journalism? Where are they? Where's KSL? Where's where's KUTV? Where's the Tribune? Where's the Deseret News? The Standard Examiner? They should be shut down. I honestly think they all should be put in jail. By the way, KSL, I believe, is being paid. They used to be a powerhouse. They broke that photograph out at Dugway in 1968 when all the sheep were dead and the ghost shoots were dead. That was a KSL reporter. They broke that story. It's one of the most famous stories ever reported in the history of the world. Now, they all propagate more nuclear. So they're testing the same exact nuclear reactors right here, right now in Idaho at National, right up the road. FLUOR Construction. Now stay with me. When this thing started to break loose in FLUOR Construction, they're so corrupt. FLUOR Construction has reported fraud inside on their own. In their earnings report, they dropped 30% one day. They've gone from $80 to $90 a share. They're trading at 18 today. G's gone from 64. They're trading at 9 today. Chicago Bridge and Iron crashed 60% in one day. Westinghouse went bankrupt, took Toshiba down with them. The whole nuclear energy crime said, yeah, you bail them out. Everyone's bailing them out, throwing more money at them on the backs of Fukushima. Fukushima should have been the end. Chernobyl should have been the end. It takes you 33 years to watch an HBO miniseries on the wake up that was as obvious as the scars across my face. So, in the Battle of Chernobyl, which was done in 2008, and by the way, the Chernobyl documentary is basically a remix of the masterpiece done in 2008 called The Battle of Chernobyl. The character, the scientist who plays that central figure inside Chernobyl, I'm trying to think of her name, which I've met personally before. In fact, by the way, I'd met Igor. I was in Vienna when Igor, who took that original photograph you'd never know about Chernobyl, was killed in a car wreck. I was there. In Vienna. He was killed on the road between Vienna and Budapest in 2015 when I was protesting at the IAEA. Without him, you wouldn't even know. He flew in, a journalist, him and his friend flew in with a plane. In one photo, or, you think, oh, they came clean? Russia never comes clean. The United States never comes clean. You don't think we've had these? What about 3 Mile Island? What about Hanford? What about Santa Susana? What about the 2 meltdowns at INL? So we're testing these same things. So in the Battle of Chernobyl, Risa, I think her name's Risa, says, I can tell you, the worst thing that come out of those reactors was not iodine, was not cesium, was not even plutonium. It was lies. This is in 2008. Set the table for Fukushima. So the worst thing that came from Fukushima? Was it cesium, plutonium killed the Pacific Ocean? Yeah, plutonium. They set the table for this. The cover-up. You keep covering up the reality and the truth. They classified Fukushima. So all you're doing is perpetuating the lie. And you created this. So don't tell me this is Russia. Oh, hell no. This is right here, right now. This university won't even speak it. This university pipelines, they took my PhD away from me for standing up to this machine. I have the first MBA in the history. I saved this program. We have a cancer epidemic. I call it the water's curse. And yet everybody goes along. They hire PR firms to attack me when I'm in critical condition on my YouTube site. I mean, I've been chased off and attacked like guns in my face for standing up to NUSCALE, small reactors, to standing up to the Nuclear Energy Crime Syndicate. The original funding for these reactors came from FLUOR construction. FLUOR construction merged with Utah construction long ago, right here, which is Waters Construction, which is who built the nuclear reactors at Fukushima, Japan, who built them all. They cheated. They're one and the same. This is important. So the original funding, here's how it works in the United States. You have to have original funding on an idea, on anything, and then you go to the Department of Energy. It's the Energy Act, I believe, of 1971, somewhere around there. You have the funding, then you present your idea to the Department of Energy. Of course, the Department of Energy just throws money at the nuclear industry because they really are the Department of Nuclear Kill You. You can't sue them, Price Anderson. We used to have a famous senator here named Jake Garn. He spent his entire career trying to overturn Price Anderson, which is basically a law that was passed by Congress in the 1950s that says you cannot sue a nuclear reactor for an accident, for cheating, for lying, for killing. You can't sue them. Now think about that. There's no liability. So the original funding, I'm the guy that dug it out. I'm like, no. They got the original funding from a thing called Kenwood Financial. So I got my old Wall Street freaking ties, and I dug it out. Kenwood Financial was under investigation by the SEC at the time as a Ponzi scheme. Pled guilty. That was the original money that they put up and said to the DOE. So the DOE, under Obama, matched the funds. I'm like, no, you can't match the funds. The original funding was a fraud. That was never there. Same with Blue Castle on the Green River when they tried to build here. They had Lead Dog Hedge Fund. I'm an hedge fund guy. I'm like, Lead Dog, please, please. Bad timing for them. I dug that out. There's no such thing as Lead Dog Hedge Fund. That's what they do. In the state of Utah. Now, is the Mormon Church in on this? They have to be. How else would this happen? Which is appalling to me. It is absolutely appalling to me. How can the Mormon Church be propagating this nuclear mass murder? Clean, green, too cheap to murder. Nuclear energy. Oh my God. This story is going to grow like a wildfire. Let me start this video over so I can. What are we at? Oh, you got it, don't you?
Yep. I'm